This is I'm on Pinterest all the time, and this is a poster, an anchor chart that one of the teachers has in talking with her kids. And one of the things that she has here is the types of vocabulary. If you're interested, I'll go ahead and take your emails, and I'll go ahead and forward this to you. I found this just a few days ago. But estimating, look at estimating, level 2, just the types of tasks that the kids are asked to do. I thought it's really, really cool. Okay, go ahead and go to the next one, and I'll send it to you. Okay, we talked about the wheel. It's very general. This is very general. When this is more content specific, and I like, because when I think of tasks, things to do with my kids, what I'm going to ask them to do, I want to be pushing. I'm not always going to push for level 4, because I need to scaffold, I need to build up. But I need to make sure that I'm giving them opportunities at these levels always. Okay, we did that already. Let's go to the next one. Okay, we looked at this. Do you have any questions about this? Bloom's taxonomy and the depth of knowledge, Webb's Bloom of knowledge. This is what's going around our schools a lot right now. We're getting trained on Webb. Bloom's is kind of, he's been around for a long time, that theory, the research behind it, and Webb has been coming around the last 2 years, 2 or 3 years, because it's what addresses STAAR a little bit better when it comes to level 4s and 3s. Okay, go to the next one. Okay, all right, your turn. Okay. I'm going to, this is the last piece of this. I created a checklist. Can I have you pass these around on this side of the room? Can I ask you to pass these around on that side of the room? And don't tell my teachers. We share lesson plans. When in the grade level, we are not departmentalized. And all the teachers, we share lesson plans in the sense that one person does math for the grade level, one person does science for the grade level. And over the years, we've tried to perfect our lesson plans. They're fluid again in the sense that you can always add more, you cannot take less. You cannot have less. You can always add more, but you cannot have less. And we put them on the server, on our computer server where we share them. And our administrators look at our lesson plans before the week. We're always a week ahead, and they make comments or suggestions. We analyze them as our leadership team. We analyze it. Is this what we're seeing in our classrooms? What are we missing? What are we lacking? We've tried to perfect them. 3 or 4 years ago, we came together at a faculty meeting, and we said, what template will work best for our lesson plans? Because we share them, and we need to make sure that we're thinking. When we plan, we're thinking, we're putting all of this together, and it needs to show in our lesson plan, it needs to show in our delivery. So we came together, we decided on a common template at our school, so you might see different ones at other schools, but this is what we decided. I came up with a checklist, and that's this pink part. I want you to take it apart. And I want you to do an audit. This is what I do, what we do. Is the lesson plan? You're going to choose one of the lesson plans. It doesn't matter what you choose. You have a science and a math one for 5th grade. You're going to conduct an audit. And you're looking for these things. Does it have that specificity? Is it visible? Not visible? If you are the administrator, if you're me, what suggestions are you going to have for this lesson plan? Does it have the questioning? Is it addressing multiple intelligence? What I mean by that, is it helping my kids who are very active? Are they getting into groups? Do I have any art from artistic students? Do I have any music in them? My literature connection. Do I make any connection with literature? Am I bringing in any of the writing? Assessment. Am I assessing kids to find out if they learn in multiple ways? It's not always just paper pencil. Do I have any evidence that I'm, at the end of my lesson, am I going to know who got it, who didn't get it? Do my tests, the tests by students, does it have rigor? What they're being asked, is it level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4? Okay? And then differentiated instruction tasks. Am I addressing my low students' needs? Am I addressing my medium students, my average students? Am I addressing my high students? Okay. And by high students, it could mean it's not always my gifted and talented kids. Because I could be a student, I could be a very smart student, but I might be bad at multiplication. It doesn't mean that I'm not smart. It means that when it comes to that skill, I haven't gotten it yet. So am I addressing it? And guess what? All of this has to be where? In the lesson plan. Isn't that hard? That's a lot to ask for a lesson plan, right? So you're going to be an auditor right now. You're looking at it. Is it visible? Not visible? And what suggestions would you have for them? Okay? Anything that, whatever you learn, guys, as you begin your careers, take it as, what am I going to add to this to make it better? For my kids, for myself, what am I going to do to this? There's nothing out there that is perfect. Nothing that's going to address your teeth the way that you know how. How are you going to take this? I know these are not perfect. I know they're missing. We have these conversations with our leadership team week in, week out. We've trained, we've assisted, we've helped. I had a conversation over here. The lady said, she said, you know, my kids are different. Every class that I get is different. So it's hard for me to plan something very concrete if all my kids are different. And I said, you're absolutely right. You're right. It's those teachers, when you get to that level, that when you take a skeleton and you build from it to address the needs for your kids, for each one of your children, for each one of your students, or each one of your classes. But at a minimum, this is what all our kids are going to get, and we're going to build upon each one. And then I had the conversation with her. Our new teachers take the lesson plan and they do exactly what's on it. They know nothing else. They just know, follow the lesson plan and I'm going to be okay. It's our master teachers, our veteran teachers. They come in and they have discussions, or they see on the board, oh, you did that. Why did you do that? It wasn't on the lesson plan. Or a teacher comes in and she's like, oh, look, I did this foldable, or oh, look, I did this. And then the new teacher is like, oh, why did you do that? It wasn't on the lesson plan. Because the teachers with experience know that you adapt and you adapt as you're up there. But you might change things, and that's okay. But at a minimum, a non-negotiable is that we're going to assess our kids with these 2 questions or this foldable to make sure every single one of my kids has got it. We can always add, but never anything less. Does that make sense? Yes? All right, my new teachers. But it wasn't on the lesson plan, and they're devastated. Like, if you just put it on the lesson plan, you know I'm going to do it. But our new teachers don't think like that. Okay? So that's why if you are my math teacher, we assign subjects according to, if we took STAAR and she's the highest in math, then we're going to lean on her expertise to help us. We want to get into her thinking. I need to get into her thinking. And we might meet as a grade level, we might discuss, but my lesson plans are what I'm going to use as my skeleton to build my foundation. We're not always going to be able to talk. So if she can help me with questions that I can ask the kids, guess what? That's already, I'm doing it. If I do what she does, then I'm going to be okay. Does that make sense? All right, so tell me, what kinds of things did you see that were positive, that were good? Anything that you saw that you can, you know what? This is good. No? You didn't find anything? Activities. Okay, for the students?
Yes.
Okay, activities, which one was it?
That's a third grade science.
Third grade science, okay. Activities, they had activities. Anything else? Tasks, they had tasks? Like hands-on activities, or the kids talking, or?
A combination of activities.
Okay, all right. Anything else? Anything positive?
They're working in groups so they can also learn from each other. Also,
Okay.
if they don't understand something that the teacher explained, maybe that other student can explain it better to their level.
Collaborative. I'm going to go back to my window that had the STAAR. Collaborative works, team building, collaborative working. Okay. Anything else that you found positive?
Modifications, because in the class you're going to always, if just be ready to have a diverse classroom of students. So you want to have that in front of you, always.
You have to know your kids.
You have to know your kids.
The fifth grade one?
Yes.
Okay. You have to know your kid. The third grade didn't have it? Okay. So we're still addressing, in third grade, we're still teaching whole group. We're doing that. That's our biggest fault. We're teaching whole group. We're teaching whole group. Yes, I teach whole group. When they're working, when I give them independent work, you know, those kids, like, they go work on their own. I need fulanita B, fulanita da 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 da, come over here, and guess what? I'm gonna work with them. I'm not gonna give them a reteach. I'm gonna work with them because I need to guide their thinking. I'm gonna work with them, da da da, let them on their own. You know what? I'm walking around. Oh, not getting it, and I'm pulling it, and it happens automatically. And it has to happen. Doesn't happen automatically. It has to happen fast and automatic. When I'm building my lesson, I need to be thinking of my kids who are my low kids who are missing those gaps. I already have data on them. I know they're gonna struggle, so guess what? Okay guys, I need you to come and sit in the front because the minute that I finish with my lesson, my notes, whatever, bam, I'm there, let me see what they're doing. Bam, I'm working with this group, let me see what they're doing. Does that make sense? And that has to happen before my lesson.
Well, that's something that's missing on third grade.
Okay. What do you see it missing? What do you see missing? How would you make this better? How are you gonna take this lesson plan? And when you deliver this lesson, when you take your lesson plans, you're gonna rock this lesson because you are my future teachers. How are you gonna make this better? What are you gonna do? What suggestions did you have for them?
One of them was that, but it is missing that differentiation or the modifications of for the different.
For many years, we go over the low. I said it right now, hit my lows first. I hit my low first. What about my high kids? What about my high kids? If you have kids, if you have your own children, and they're, or even if they're the average kid, what is the teacher doing to address their needs? What are we doing? Because they need learning also. Okay, and that absolutely, that's missing, the differentiation. Okay, anything else? Which suggestions do you have for this group?
With the third grade lesson plan, there was no, it didn't appear that there was any room for independent learning. See, and that's probably why third grade levels all throughout the district, and probably most districts, they're just so used to getting the groups and having them codependent on each other. And then when it comes time for the tests or benchmarks, they're lost. The kids just already attach themselves with perhaps their lead table student, which could, you know, add some burdens. I mean, third grade kids, they love to teach as well, but that can be, I think that's a problem because they get so used to, you know, having pairing and I think they need to, I think the district needs to actually find a way to see if we can, you know, put some independent learning skills in there, some, you know, lessons.
Guess what? The best lessons have a combination of all three. I do, model, we do together, teacher, class.
I do, you do, then
They do,
we do together.
partner,
Yeah.
and then independent.
Independent.
And I just had a conversation, the third grade teachers are irate that the kids are just waiting, they're waiting. Like if you are not pushing them, they could sit there, they're waiting to be spoon fed.
Mm-hmm.
Who has created that?
The teacher.
We have.
Yeah.
We have. It's our fault. And we're trying to fix it.
Yes. I brought that up because I'm second student teaching with my friend and teacher, and she was shocked with the benchmark last week. She was shocked, and then she asked me honestly what I thought, and I said, you know what, I've been here already, and what I've observed, you've got the kids, like you said, spoon-fed, and so I think you need to, you know, she's enabled them already to try to, and then they're just lost with their independence, so.
We go within groups, even within our groups. You know, let's change it up. Instead of
Yeah,
having
change-
5, I want you to
exactly.
pair up, where now I have 50% participation
Yeah.
versus 20%
Which
participation.
raises the probability of them increasing their more critical thinking
I'm
on
gonna
their
hold you
own.
accountable
Yeah.
for each other's learning. And if you are struggling with that independence, guess who's gonna be your partner? Me.
Yeah.
You and I are gonna be tied at the hip for partners. You're always my partner, right? And then you go into independent. And we're not, because we're so pressed for time, we leave it out. We leave it
Well,
out.
yeah, see, that's,
But it's critical, because we're not helping kids become self-independent thinkers. any other suggestions you would have?
Well, we talked about it. So another issue that we found was the writing connection. There's very little, no writing connection. The students are only
What
required.
grade?
This is the third grade.
Science again?
They were only required to write vocabulary words in our journal, and really that scientific process, any discussions that they had, any explanations were all verbal. There was very little, if any, writing in this.
Guess what? For language arts, there's a team called procedural text. Procedural text is talking about writing things in order, putting them in order. What is that? That's your scientific process. Step 1, step 2, step 3. And if she had written on that lesson plan, students can you tell from that lesson plan for third grade science that we have a beautiful science lab that students are required to go once a week to do a hands-on activity where they're required to do the scientific process? Can you tell from that?
No, it's a C64 science for lab.
Nope, it's not happening. So if the teacher said scientific process broken down so that we all know what we are thinking as teachers.
It's identified in the teacher's description is that scientific investigation and reasoning, she put parentheses scientific process, but there is nothing for them to learn or model that process.
Yeah. So, yes, sir.
I got
Last one.
a question instead of the assessment, it's folded card foldable. Is there something else besides?
There's multiple assessments. There's summative and formative. Summative is a very informal type of assessment. How can you make this more formal? If you still want to do your foldable, could you have one STAAR question regarding that thing? Or a STEM regarding that question? A ticket in, a ticket out? One question you created, can you do that? Who got it, who didn't get it? To make it more formal, right? Or even a rubric, if you're gonna have a foldable. I need to see this in that foldable, and it's a checklist. If all those components are there, then you're good to go. But you're right, it's very informal, and how are we going to take kids from informal to formal, okay? All right, guys, this concludes my piece.